Forum. This is the third time that the Zion Benton Public Library has hosted a round of candidate forums. We did this the last time around that we had mayor and city commission, and then over the years, that was 4 years ago, 6 years ago. And the years just go by in such a blur. But I can make one prediction about the Zion election this year. We're going to have a new mayor. So that's my safe bet, but I cannot tell you who that's going to be. My name is Nan Blaine Hilliard. I am the former director of the Zion Benton Public Library. I am taking a page from the Rich Walker retirement playbook and still participating in a great many things. My mantra is now that I'm going to wear out rather than rust out. So that's one of the reasons that I am still here. Also because I am convinced that the public library is the one place in any community where everyone has an equal opportunity to learn, to grow, to be informed, and that's one of the reasons that we are having a candidate forum here. Also, it's very cool for a library that's closed on Sunday to actually be here on a Sunday, so I hope you guys feel really special to be here. We have a number of helpers with us today. Bob Bigden Russell in the back. Ed Moss and Darren Labassi are out in the front policing things. Jennifer Logan is a volunteer for us today, and Carol Dolan, who is the new library director. And we're very grateful to her for allowing us to have this forum here in the library. Our format today is going to be this. Each of the candidates will come up to the podium to make their opening remarks. Bob is our timer back there, so he will be waving signs at you to let you know if you're getting close to your end, although I know you all timed your speeches so carefully that you will be right on the mark. Carol and Jennifer and others will be collecting index cards with questions, and they will be editing those for us so that we will group questions, things that are for all the mayoral candidates, things that are for all the city commission candidates. General will ask, and we'll just work our way down the row for people to give their responses. First question will start in alphabetical order, and then we'll mix it up a little. We'll mix it up a little, Chuck, so you can't go for all the time.
It's okay, I don't want to.
And then if there are questions for specific candidates, we will do those at the end. And after all the questions are exhausted, then each of the candidates will have an opportunity for a closing speech. Are there any questions about the rules and regulations? Sorry, we have a pleasant dilemma that we have run out of seats, so you will need to be cozy, and I'm not sure if Ed and Darren can round up any more chairs. They might be able to do that. Carol will get that information out to them. So our filming today is done by, what's your corporate name, Tom and Gibby?
Zion Park District.
By Zion Park District. So we very much appreciate their being here with all of their equipment to film this. And where will people be able to see this after?
zbguide.com, Mr. Chris is right here.
Okay, Mr. Chris, thank you, sir, for zbguide.com if you want to revisit this, or if you want to share clips with it with your, not nearest, but your farthest and nearest, or your nearest and dearest. Yes, sir.
And Tom, he'll put it on channel 19 too.
Okay, it'll be on channel 19.
For Comcast and 99 for AT&T.
Okay.
Thanks, Tom.
Okay. Now, without further ado, welcome to the, I think I'm supposed to give an eloquent intro that Gibby's going to edit for us. So welcome once again to the Mayor and City Commission Candidate Forum for 2015. Our first candidate is Chuck Fitzgerald.
Thank you, Matt. You have to excuse me, I need to use my cheaters. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Charles Fitzgerald, and I'm a candidate for the mayor of Zion. I want to thank you all for coming out this wonderful Sunday afternoon, and I want to thank the Zion Benton Library for hosting this event. I am running for mayor because I see great potential for our community. However, we need an individual who has the proven experience of working in a collaborative and cooperative manner that will lead our community to new direction. As a senior executive with over 30 years of professional experience in public policy, government relations, and nonprofit organizations, I've developed an excellent managerial and management skills, leadership skills, and experience in working with a diverse community. I have held public office before, and I know what it means to work for the people. Our city is at a critical point. We have many important issues facing us that need immediate attention. First is economic development. With the Cancer Treatment Centers of America expanding their facilities, I am proposing a new hotel complex with support stores to be built on the old Kmart complex site. Lake Michigan is one of our greatest assets. In working with the Illinois Department of Natural Resources and the Zion Park District, I plan on developing a plan for tourism to help bring people into Zion. With the city purchasing or in the process of purchasing the Fielders property, we need to have that area, that corner of Green Bay Road and 173 developed economically for business. That is a huge part of our western part of our community. High property taxes is another issue. Last year alone, over $45 million was allocated through property taxes to the various taxing districts throughout our community. The city receives approximately $12 million. When residents have to cut back on spending, government needs to set the example and not be the exception. We must hold the line on taxes. We also have an issue with Section 8 housing. I have a proven track record also of working with people in need from my prior experience. However, Zion has received more of its Section 8 housing in the county than any other community in Lake County. And I would like to know why from the Lake County Housing Authority. Because it has had a major impact on our community. We have other issues such as crime and the redevelopment of Sheridan Road that need to be addressed. I have ideas, I have a focus, I have other programs, and I am focusing on things that I would like to go after. One is federal funding. We are stuck with the nuclear spent fuel on our lakefront, and the federal government needs to support us financially for storing those spent fuel rods. With this being said, and its time being short, I look forward to your opportunity, and thank you for being here.
The next mayoral candidate is Al Hill.
Thank you, Nan. My name is Al Hill, and I'm a candidate for the mayor of Zion. I am the retired director of the Zion Park District after having served there for 27 years, and I've been on the city council for the last 2 years in charge of building and public property. Before I go any further, I want to express my appreciation to the Zion Benton Public Library for hosting us today, and I also want to thank each one of the candidates, both mayoral and commissioner candidates, for putting their name on the ballot, because it's not easy, and I want to thank them for being willing to serve their community. I'd like to tell you why I want to run for mayor. I've been a longtime resident of Zion. We moved here in 1976. I know this community, and I know the people of Zion. I'm proud to say that I know people like Michael Hill, who I first met when he was 10 years old playing basketball at the Leisure Center. I'm proud that I can say that I know Andy Cochrane, who is the son of Rick Cochrane, who's running for commissioner, and I coached him when he was in grade school. I'm proud to say that I worked with Tom Handyside when he was 16 years old and working for the Park District in his first job. I'm proud to say that I know people like Art Freeman and many, many, many senior citizens who I've come to know over these past 35 years. My point is that all these people have grown into adulthood and contribute much to our society. However, they didn't do it alone. They did it with family. They did it with the support of the schools, the Park District, the Library District, and the city. And just as they've received this support, so too do the children, the adults, and the senior citizens today need that support in the future. People of every race, religion, and neighborhood of Zion need to know that they have the support and the backing of our entire community. Zion is at a crossroad. We have many challenges ahead of us, from taxes to nuclear storage, from safety to streets and water, from housing to citizens who do not feel connected to their city. We need to take these challenges on and solve the problems, or the support that we've been able to provide in the past will no longer be there. If we're to solve these problems, we need leadership that knows the community, knows the people in the community, and has the ability to pull people and organizations together to work for the good of all. Certainly no one can do this alone. It will take our entire city working together. With your support, I'm willing to take on this leadership challenge. I can promise you honesty, fairness, hard work, and commitment to the job. I've proven myself in the past and look forward to proving myself again to the children, families, and friends of all the Michael Hills, Andy Cochranes, Tom Handysides, and Art Freemans that are out there today. And that is why I'm a candidate for mayor. Thank you.
Our next candidate for mayor is Christina McCullough.
How's it going? Everybody's so dry-faced. It's Sunday, right? I'm Christina McCullough, and I've been a lifelong resident of Zion. While I may look young, it's been a while, you know. I graduated Zion Benton in 2002, and I've been on the school board for 6 years. And, sorry. It has been said that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting the same result. What we are expecting to achieve, ask yourself this question. What are you expecting to achieve in this if you keep voting status quo? Take the time and think about it. I'll wait, I have 3 minutes. What are we expecting to achieve if we keep doing the same things over and over again with our city? Putting the dunes in the same place, having the same solutions but no forward movement. I'll wait. What are our goals for the city? Our goals are for this city to be a safe city, a city to flourish, and a city for us to flourish together. I'm running for mayor because I've been here all my life, and most of these people who are in office have been in office my whole life, and now it's time for a fresh perspective. And for the younger people to take charge. It's our time, it's our season, and we have a plan and we have a solution, and we have the energy and the fortitude to do it. Everybody wants our city to prosper. And you want to be in it, you want to afford to live here. No one wants to be in a place where taxes keep skyrocketing and you can't afford to live here, because you all are here for a reason. We all love Zion. Zion is a part of our history. You came here to start your family. You came here because your family is here. You come here because you feel safe. I don't know about you, but I like to ride my bike here. We need a leader who has a plan for forward movement, and I have that plan. I have a plan to bring tourism to our city. I have a plan to get you involved. So now that you're here and you're awake, stay awake. After election is over, don't go back to sleep, because that's the problem. You have to stay involved. Now you're wondering, what are my qualifications? I've been on the board for 6 years. I am currently now the vice president of the high school school board. I also graduated with my bachelor's degree in advertising, and I studied abroad in Spain, and I'm a fluent Spanish speaker. I also, on my daily job, where I've been there for 6 years, manage multi-million-dollar accounts for Pepsi. Some accounts including Quaker Foods, Naked Juice, and Izzy, to name a few. I am asking you to partner with me to change and rebuild our city. It's your job as voters to put the right leader in place. So I'm asking you to vote McCullough for mayor. Thank you.
The next candidate for mayor is Beverly Mull.
Nice job.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming. My name is Beverly Mull, and the city of Zion is full of treasures. And the treasures in this city is the people. And I want to be your mayor to help bring opportunities to our city, economic opportunities, financial opportunities, and social opportunities. And I believe, and with the show of the people in this room, that you care about this city too. This is not a me campaign, this is a we campaign. We together can move our city forward. We can make great things happen. We've been stuck for a while, but I believe that the train can come out of the depot station. I believe that there's a movement that can begin. And I just ask for your support to vote for Beverly Mull for mayor. Thank you.
Our final mayoral candidate is Shantal Taylor.
Would like to thank everyone for being here today, and would like to share that the next mayor of the city will have a very huge job, because over the past year, I've been having listening sessions, holding those here at the library and around town. And the biggest gist of what's going on is people are suffering, people are afraid. There is a lot that has to happen even within the next year for people to feel what they need to concerning safety, concerning economic prosperity, not just being a successful business, but families being able to stay somewhere safe and enjoy a quality of life that they deserve. I'm very concerned about when I go to a Walmart in a different city or a different area and it's clean, it's pristine. I'm concerned about not only Walmart, but even small businesses right here in Zion being excellent and feeling good about having a great quality of life because things are clean and things are in order. We deserve that. The city of Zion, Illinois pays the highest taxes in all of Lake County. Some people may say, hey, that's not a big deal, but that's everything. And one of the things that I look forward to doing is helping the citizens understand that now is the time for us to come together, individuals, families, businesses, to see what we can do, to look at things line upon line, precept upon precept, because it must stop. It cannot go on. I think about the children in our city. I'm concerned. I'm not sure if the name Ryan Harris means anything to anyone in here. Stands out to me. It's a young lady that was riding her bike in a city. Lots of sex offenders and abandoned homes. She was her mother's only child, and she was raped and killed. But the story didn't stop there. 2 young boys in the neighborhood was charged with her, or rather, they were going to charge them with her unfortunate end, but it was actually a registered sex offender that had just gotten out of jail. We have a high rate of sexual offenders in our city. I'm concerned about our neighborhoods. I'm concerned about our children. I'm concerned about kindness from adults to young people. And I'm looking forward to answering your questions today and showing you why I believe I should be the next mayor of Zion. Thank you.
Next, we will hear from the city commission candidates, and the first one is Mr. Cochrane.
As has been said before, I'd like to thank the library for hosting this event. I think it's one way for us to get out and meet people that we don't normally see. There's quite a few here in the audience that I know, that I've seen, that I've worked with. I think in the commissioner's position, it's not one of standing alone and doing something independently to benefit you all. But I think we all have to work together, the commissioners, the mayor, all the other departments, and all the citizens of Zion. I think everyone needs to communicate their feelings, their needs, their dislikes, and that's one of the reasons that I decided to run for commissioner. I'm available all the time. I've put out a web address. I have a phone number listed. I'm there to be contacted. I want to work for you 24/7 as a commissioner. I think there's a lot of things that need to be changed. But moreover, I think there's a lot of things that need to be remade. The taxes, the infrastructure, businesses. I think we need to fill every storefront on Sheridan Road with some type of a business that serves the citizens of Zion. And I think we should do as much as we can locally with our businesses rather than leave the state or the county or the town to do that. I try to do it as much as possible. I've been in Zion forever, it seems like, since 1960. And all of my children and grandchildren have lived and they now live in Zion. They all work in the area. And without things that we've had, like the Park District and different organizations, they've always had something to do here in town that's kept them occupied, that's made them the people they are today. And I'd invite all of you to vote for me on April 7th, and I will give you my all in return. Thank you.
I'm sorry, we're editing as we go, and this, doing it on the fly. Okay, our next candidate is Chris Fischer. We sat everybody in alphabetical order because Carol and I, as librarians, can do alphabetical order.
Good afternoon. I want to thank Carol Dolan and the Zion Benton Public Library for putting this event together, and Ann, of course, is our moderator, and my fellow candidates for participating. An educated public is the lifeblood of a democracy, and hopefully this forum will make everyone make an informed choice at the voting booth. I am Christopher Fischer, and to the public I offer the experience and judgment acquired in over 30 years of professional life. For the past 16 years, I have been employed with the Human Resources Department at the American Medical Association in Chicago. I have over a decade of management experience in private security, and I served in the U.S. Army as an intelligence analyst. My wife and I moved to Zion 20 years ago, and over the past several years, I became more aware of the importance of our local government in our lives. With this awareness came a feeling that I had a duty to serve the public in some capacity. After doing a lot of research, I decided that my skills and abilities would best serve on the City Council. So I ran in my first election 2 years ago for the office of Commissioner. Since that election, I have been given opportunities to serve the public as a trustee on the board of the Lake County Public Water District. That's a hard one to get around. And as a member of the steering committee for the Comprehensive Development Plan. Some of the policy proposals I made 2 years ago have since been taken up by the City Council, and I want to give you a status report on them. First, the aforementioned Comprehensive Development Plan was part of my platform. I proposed that the city obtain a technical grant from the Chicago Metropolitan Agency for Planning and create a new plan, the first one since 1992. Wisely, the city did so. And now Plan for Zion is underway. As commissioner, I will see that plan as enacted and not put on a shelf. Second, I proposed the creation of an abandoned property registration program. That program has since been enacted and is reported to be working well in identifying the parties responsible for those abandoned properties and holding them accountable for their maintenance. Third, I propose a rental licensing and inspection program to hold landlords and property management companies accountable to ensure that tenants are not living in substandard conditions or dangerous housing. Also to weed out the negligent owners and slumlords that are damaging our community. I give credit to Commissioner Hill for bringing such a proposal to the city this very month. And hopefully in the near future it will be enacted, because I think it's something that we've needed for a long time. Now I bring these proposals up not to pat myself on the back, but to illustrate a quality I believe I can offer the public. The ability to recognize a need and offer a solution. I look forward to your questions.
Very good.
I hope this will be an informative afternoon for all of us. Thank you.
Our next commissioner candidate is Frank Flammini.
Thank you, Nan. Thank you to the Library District and Park District and everybody else that made this possible. Thank you to all of you who came out today. I find this exciting because I wish we would have these turnouts at our city council meetings. Nothing irritates me more than to see us perform in front of an empty house. That being said, my name is Frank Flammini. I'm running for a re-election to the Zion City Council for my 4th term. I came to Zion in 1981 when I was discharged from the Navy. I had the opportunity to go to work at any Commonwealth Edison nuclear plant, and I chose Zion only because it was closer to Mom and Dad. I had no idea, I knew nothing about the Zion area. I accepted the position, I came up here, and unfortunately I moved to Waukegan. I was told by people I worked with that, God, you don't want to live in Zion. You don't want to, just be careful driving in the morning and make sure you go somewhere else. I lived in Waukegan for a few years. I married my lovely wife, Donna, and we outgrew the house. And we started looking. Well, after about 8 or so years of driving through Zion, downtown Zion, to get to work every day, so, you know, Zion's not a bad place. Well, that being said, 25 years ago, we bought our house in Zion. We've been here ever since. However, in 1998, the bomb fell, and the Zion nuclear plant closed forever. I was on a layoff list, and my last day would have been May 1st. Through, excuse me, a stroke of luck, I was offered a position in Lombard, Illinois, with Commonwealth Edison Company. I accepted, and with that came a relocation package. Commonwealth Edison was willing to move me to Lombard with my family, and if necessary, buy my house in Zion if I couldn't sell it. After a lot of discussion with my wife and my kids, who were very small at the time, we made a list, and the only negative to staying in Zion was that I had to drive 65 miles each way to work. So we made the decision to stay. And then we decided, well, now that we've kind of cut the tie, so to speak, and deflated the lifeboat, it's time to do something. My wife ran for school board. I got involved in the community, Rebuilding Together, formerly Christmas in April, Wounded Heroes, various organizations, and it has worked out really well for us. I was approached in 2001 to run for the city council, and my first reaction was, me? You gotta be kidding. I ran, I didn't win. I ran again 2 years later, and I won. And let me tell you, nobody was more surprised than me, okay? I'm still surprised. I could go on and on about the taxes and things. We'll get to that. I would just like to say thank you for allowing me to serve to this point. I would like to continue. Thank you.
The next city commission candidate is Mike McDowell.
I'm the next one and the last one, if I'm not mistaken. Thank you all for being here, and I'd like to add my thanks also to the Park District for filming and for the library for hosting. It's great to have all of you here. My name is Mike McDowell, and I'm running for commissioner for the city of Zion. Zion is my hometown. I went to high school here, graduated in 1978. After college, my wife and I went to Asia for 14 years. We raised our kids there. My wife is sitting right here, Donna. We have 3 children, all married, and we have 3 grandchildren, and hopefully a little bit, another one on the way. After we moved back to Zion about 15 years ago, I began getting involved in the community. I was a member of the Coalition for Healthy Communities. I was one of the founding members of the Family Resource Center of Zion. I'm a chaplain for the police department, and I'm also a member of the Historical Society on the board there. And I'm in my 10th year serving as an elected commissioner for the Zion Park District, and I'm the current president of the Zion Park District. I'm running for a city commissioner, moving from the Park District, hopefully, if I have your vote, because I love Zion. Zion is, and I believe always will be, my home. What I have heard people saying recently about Zion, longtime residents, longtime business owners, saying things like, if I could leave Zion, I would leave Zion. Or the taxes here are too high. Or Zion isn't safe. And those kinds of expressions really touch me. They actually break my heart. Because I'd like Zion to be a place that we all want to live. That we want to live. It's a place that we would choose to live. And I'd like the opportunity to change that kind of sentiment that I've heard. Some of the issues that I'd like to talk about are the high taxes, 19.5% tax rate, our housing, about 40% of our housing here in Zion is rental property, 28% of that is Section 8 housing, and safety. I will commit to you that I will not raise the tax levy and keep the tax levy flat. I've done that in the Zion Park District. In fact, this year we've actually lowered the tax levy. In terms of housing, I'd like to work with our state legislature. I'm glad that Sherry Jessel is here. And I know that she's committed to help us with redistributing Section 8 housing in Lake County. And in terms of the issue of safety in the city of Zion, do we have a problem? And the answer to that question is yes, we do. We have an exceptional police department, though, and the 98% of us that aren't involved in crime need to stand up and get rid of the crime in our neighborhood. Thank you very much.
I meant to say that we did extend the invitation to all candidates who were registered with the county clerk's office, and one candidate indicated that was not able to attend today, and we did not get a response from another candidate, but the invitation was extended equally to everyone. And we do thank all of you for coming this afternoon. We'll give it, I think, another maybe 3 minutes or so. If you need an index card, we've got them somewhere in the back. If you need a pencil, we've got those as well. Who's got the index cards? Okay, blank ones. Okay, I'll redistribute them. So if you have more questions to ask as a result, here, Carol, if you want to take those to hand out, or so you can relax a little. I apologize for the heat this room. We can't do anything about it, and we learned something today. We found out that this door, not only does it say it's alarmed, but we don't know how to unlock it. So please don't tell the fire marshal on us. You can leave and give an emergency by that door, or stampede out the front, but you can't go out that door. It's hotter on the other side of that wall. I worked here for 12 years. You know, it says, do not open this door. So I didn't open this door. So.
She still has the tags on her pillows. Do not remove this tag.
She's like, just leave it.
Dan, do you still have the tags on your pillows that say do not remove this tag?
That's in the privacy of my own home.
Okay.
All
right.
Oh, I have.
It might have. You know, it's this
You're a different generation than I am.
Yeah,
I think so.
You got
I'm the
this.
only one.
Mine stuff's all written down and.
I was like, I think I'm the only person with a I didn't know we could use it. So I'm proud of you.
I got a pad, but I'm afraid that mine goes blank. It's like I can't trust it.
Washington Street, you got a lot of signs.
Shantal. Hi, Clyde. How are you?
Okay, put y'all on the floor.
Economic development is much on everybody's mind, and I think I can say that still with my moderator cap on. We have a number of questions for all the candidates along the lines of what do you plan to do to attract and keep businesses in Zion put together. Individuals and businesses are moving out of the area. What will you do to change this? The city has spent upwards of $4 to $5 million on real estate and development in the last several years with little or no return. Is this concerning to you, and what steps will you take to improve this? What specific actions do you propose to bring business into Zion? And pointing out that we now have a new joint chamber of commerce that includes Zion, Beach Park, Winter Harbor, and Wadsworth. Do you feel it would be valuable for the three ZD communities to work together more in the area of economic development, and how would you suggest doing that? So this is your economic development question, and I think the mic will extend.
Which question?
But the problem, go ahead.
Okay. Can you hear me? Okay.
Just don't knock over the water.
Anyway, this is going to be interesting if we have to pass the mic.
The eye-hand coordination test, so.
Economic development. There is an economic corridor that Wisconsin understands between Milwaukee and the border. Illinois does not understand that if we can develop between Chicago and Milwaukee, we have the opportunity to expand economic opportunities across the whole Midwest. This is something that I have seen for many times. I've run for the Illinois State Senate twice. Springfield doesn't get it. They don't understand that northeastern Illinois is a huge economic engine for our community. We have a lakefront that I've proposed, and I would suggest folks go on to fitzgeraldformayor.com and look at my platform. There's an opportunity for tourism along the lakefront and working with the Illinois Department of Natural Resources and the Zion Park District. There is chance for economic opportunity in cooperation with Cancer Treatment Center. I see such potential for economic opportunity that unfortunately has been missed by a lack of a vision for our city at City Hall. So the opportunities exist. We need leadership who will fight for Zion and go to Springfield, go to Washington, D.C., and bring back those dollars that we deserve to be able to provide economic development, property tax relief. There are a lot of things that are involved in economic opportunity for our community. That's just to name a few.
Right now, we are at a disadvantage when we're looking for economic development vis-a-vis Wisconsin. The state of Wisconsin has a terrific incentive program to bring businesses up there, and the local taxes up there are much lower than we have right here. Taxes and economic development go hand in hand. We have lost businesses from Zion. We've been talking to them. We have making the Department of Economic Development for the city and Dave Nabel, who's the Director of Finance, have been very, very aggressive trying to bring new businesses in. We've talked to Niagara, we've talked to a couple other businesses that when they look at our taxes, they are going up to Wisconsin. I think that we have to bring the taxes down. That's got to be the first and foremost on everybody's mind, not just for economic development, but for the local residents also. The lakefront development is important. I propose that at some point we get and I think it takes the bully pulpit of the mayor's office, that we get all the elected officials from Lake County and Kenosha County together, and we take a comprehensive approach on the lakefront, going from Waukegan all the way up to Carthage College, and develop it together. And I think if we get all of our government officials together, that is a possibility. The city has been very aggressive in trying to purchase properties. Everybody's looked at the Dunes property, and that was torn down. and that was a private individual who owned that, and we were told that another dollar store was coming in. And the city did not want that. We made a quick trip to purchase that property, and we purchased the lumber yard next to that, and we are aggressively marketing both that and the property that we use for the baseball field.
How's it going? Can you hear me? Awesome. All right, so economic development. Every year we have the Nostalgia Days and the Labor Day Parade. Nostalgia Days brings in over 20,000 people. When they're here, what are they doing? Anybody?
Spending money.
Right. So if they're here, let's encourage our local businesses to get out in the community and let's create events. We have the traffic every year. Let's capitalize on. Let's create events. Let's encourage them to eat at our restaurants, stay at our hotels. Don't just come for the day, but stay overnight. Come to a carnival we'll create, and let's keep everything around the people who are here on a regular basis. We're just letting that money just fly through and not being like attentive to what's happening. I also think on top of the multitude of people here, we need to connect with CTC, the Cancer Treatment Centers of America, and figure out in the other locations where they have businesses, how are they able to bring in other businesses? Let's say the Atlanta location. What businesses are around that location? Is it a bigger movie theater? Is it Marcus Amphitheater? Is it a roller skating rink? And work together with them to bring businesses in. Let's partner together and bring those businesses in. I think that's the time it freaks me out when I hear it. But back to what I was saying. And then encouraging entrepreneurship. We already have small businesses, get more businesses out there, and encourage each other to spend money in your community. Every month, try to spend $50 of your own money in our community. Buy your coffee here, buy your groceries here, and whatever services you need from your home or your vehicle, do that here so we can put the money back into our community. We could do it ourselves and then work on going downstate to generate more businesses. Thank you.
Thank you. So one of the areas for us to develop economic development in our city is the city of Zion has to build trust. Many of our businesses are traveling through our city because the trust has been violated in this city within businesses. So we got to, build up the trust in our city that this is a worthy city to invest in, a worthy city to partner with. And as your mayor, I will offer moral and financial incentives for businesses to come to this city. And I will go to Springfield and partner with our legislators to bring economic development to this city. So when the businesses come to our city, what do we have to offer them? What do we have to show the businesses that this is a worthy place to be in? We need to have something to offer our businesses to stay here. So what's the exchange for them to come and bring their business to the city of Zion? What will we have to offer them? So we need to think about the quality of life that we have here, the quality of services that we have here, and let's improve our quality of services. We need more businesses in our city. We need our tax base is down. We need to address our foreclosure situation, because when we do that, we can create a new tax base when we address our foreclosure problem in our city.
Economic development, I believe, begins with the Office of the Mayor partnering with the economic coordinator and those in City Hall that has a vested interest in helping Zion not only be the best that it can, but right now I'm really aware that there are businesses right now that are struggling and they're not sure if they can stay in Zion. I know of one business that was on Sheridan Road and is at a different location now because they wouldn't be able to afford the rent in one of the businesses on Sheridan Road if they were to get inside one of those buildings. I believe the next mayor will have to be the next economic developer. And that will begin with being a huge networker, working with other mayors in surrounding cities and along with Springfield and even Washington, getting Zion on the map and being a place, helping people understand that Zion is a place to be because right now we are at not just a crossroad, but at a breaking point. We are at a point where we have to begin again. And when we begin again, we have to be able to have people speaking with confidence. And right now, the business owners that I've spoken with, they don't speak about Zion as a place that is conducive to help them grow or to even support them. I'm looking forward to helping to change all that so that they will help be our marketers as well, saying that it's great to have a business in Zion. So it's a lot of work to be done, and I believe the mayor should be the economic developer right at the top.
This question was for commission candidates as well, so.
I think as far as economic development goes, we have a lot of different groups and organizations. Ms. Jessel, we have all kinds of things that we don't need to reinvent the wheel. We can go to and tap the resources that are there. I'm not saying that every individual little business in town is going to be able to survive, but I would like them to. I would like other boutique type businesses, but your large businesses usually have a geographic radius that they work with, so we're not going to get the same restaurant, the same furniture store, et cetera, that we have at Gurney Mills or that we have in Kenosha. They're just not going to come here. We have to be inventive. We have to find something unique to the Zion area. And there again, I think it's going to be has to be a combined effort. It has to be the citizens of Zion also asking the commissioners and the mayor for this type of business so that we can research it, we can find out what is available and get it here. I just think it's more involved than just the panel that's up here in front of you. I think it's all you in the audience also that are going to be needed to pull the town through and make it better. Thank you.
Go ahead, pull it down. Get some slack.
Government can't create business, but we can create the conditions to bring businesses here. And one of the things I'm proposing is that Zion apply for enterprise zone status under the Enterprise Zone Act. This would give us the taxing and regulatory ability to entice businesses to come and locate in Zion. It would give us a leg up on competing with Wiz Park across the border because we would be able to offer some incentives. So we can create the conditions to bring businesses here. We bring businesses here, we bring business revenue, and that revenue offsets the property taxes that we, as homeowners, are paying. So it's a twofold solution. We have to create conditions, and then we can get the tax relief. It's going to take some time. The other thing I'm proposing regarding the enterprise zone, it should be tied to the nuclear storage site. As long as the nuclear fuel is there, we should have automatic renewal of enterprise zone status until we decide that we don't need it anymore. That would give us some compensation for having the nuclear fuel site here. These are practical solutions based on existing laws, and I think we can get them done. Thank you for your time.
First, I'd like to start off by saying that Commissioner Hill stole a lot of my thunder, but we meet every week with businesses and trying to encourage them or offer them incentives or just try to get them to come to Zion. One of the biggest problems that we run into is our state corporate tax structure. We recently lost one of our major businesses. They moved their corporate headquarters out of state. The city got wind of their plans to do this, and we met with them. We offered them some incentives to stay. In the end, the package that we offered them was better, but when they threw in the corporate structure in Wisconsin, corporate tax structure in Wisconsin, that tipped the scales against us. I've heard it said, taxes are one of our biggest problems, and I'd be the first one to agree. But the reality is that the city of Zion only accounts for about 13% of the tax bill. But the city really has the lead in attracting economic development. we need to work with our other taxing bodies to create an environment to make our community more desirable for local businesses. Taxes and economic development drive each other, and right now they're chasing each other in a circle. But we need to break that cycle and continue to move forward. Thank you.
I'm happy to say that we do have a plan for economic development in Zion. And over this last year, I've been working with some of my other colleagues sitting here, as well as business owners and concerned citizens in Zion, to develop that plan. You can go to the website, planforzion.com, to see some of the documentation of it. And I actually have a draft copy of that plan here, which I'm going to leave on the table for you to take a look at. Part of this plan has to do with developing some of the corridors in Zion. And one of the things that I never realized before, being a lifelong resident of Zion, is if you take a look at the map of the city, it's kind of like an island. We have farmland to the west of us, kind of an empty space before Kenosha, and Waukegan to the south of us, and of course no development in the lake to the east of us. And so the question is, what will attract businesses and entrepreneurs and investors to come to Zion? That's something that has to be created, and we do have a plan for that. The corridor for Sheridan Road is pictured here. I'm going to leave this for you to take a look at after the meeting. We have some development around the Walmart store, some suggested ideas of how that should be developed. We also have some ideas for development around the defunct Fielders Stadium, and of course development of the lakefront, which is a prime place for development in the city of Zion, and the decommissioning of the nuclear power plant. Thank you.
With our next question, we have a chair full of questions here. We are going to have our answers be 1 minute for the next round for everyone, to be completely fair, so you guys can talk either really fast or talk with fewer words, but just letting you know. So Bob, just 1 minute on the cues there. So, and we will start from, I think we will work our way. I'm trying to figure out how to do this fairly. So, well, Mike, here, we can just pass it back up. I think that's easier than, okay. We had a number of questions about particular constituent groups in town. I will, so what would you do to help the disabled and the elderly, help them with their yards and snow? And you've answered the tax question pretty well. What's your plan for youth involvement with the well-being of our children? And we'll start with those. So Mike, this is different constituent groups in town to raise the opportunities for everyone.
Okay. Well, we have a lot of programs in place in the city of Zion, not all of which the city municipal government has a role in. We have excellent library, we have a great park district, we have good schools, we have lots of programs that will address some of those needs. I think the city needs to focus its attention more on economic development, more on the issues of taking care of our roads and our alleyways, and providing the means for, oh wow, it's only a 1 minute answer? Providing the infrastructure so that our citizens can succeed, so that businesses can succeed in the city of Zion.
Thanks, Mike. Well said. I agree with everything you said. I would like to add, though, that we do have some involvement. Those of us that are currently serving and those that will serve after May 1st of next year, or this year, also sit on a township board. The township board has social services programs to help the needy. I personally have been with Rebuilding Together on the board of directors for 17 years. We rehab and repair homes for our residents here locally. The Park District provides a lot of services for our children. Our school district, again, we have a board member here. They provide a lot of services outside of educating our children to see to their needs. I would agree with Mike in that we need to focus on the city's job and let our economic development and our other drivers assist in helping with the social needs.
Frank pretty much covered it because that's exactly the point I was going to bring up, is that commissioners also serve as trustees on the township. A lot of the township programs are geared towards helping our youth and our senior citizens. I've worked with Sherry Neal on the Coalition for Healthy Communities 6 Words project, which I'm very enthusiastic about, and that's the kind of program I would continue to support if I'm elected.
Again, there's no need to reinvent the wheel. We have a lot of different organizations, as it's been stated, and Sherry, she needs money to run her programs. It's been very effective. My children went through her programs. They did what they could, and she placed them where they were needed. As far as the veterans, there's the Veterans Administration, the elderly, there's AARP. There's all kinds of resources. There's no sense in using our strength in order to reinvent things. So I think we just need to get together, get your questions to us, your concerns to us, so that we have a place to start. Thank you.
It's very important for civic organizations and local organizations to work with the city, and having the opportunity to be the next mayor will be great, to be able to continue to combine the efforts of those local organizations just to help seniors and help youth understand the importance of things. I can speak personally because I do serve as the president of the Illinois Beach Sunrise Rotary Club. We are concerned greatly about the senior citizens in town as well as the youth, and we have great programs that really touch their hearts, and as the mayor and as the city, we need to bring everyone together and do that more.
Our seniors and our youth are both very important individuals in our city, and we need to have activities for them to do. Our seniors need places to go to fellowship and have a good time. Our children need something to do. We have 2 leisure centers in our city. Is not enough right now for our children. As the coordinator of an after-school program for 7 years, I've heard the stories of our children telling me we have nothing to do in our city. When I walk around neighborhoods as a bridge builder and talk with the seniors, they ask me, what are you going to do for our seniors? And there are some resources in our city for seniors, but it's not enough. So we're going to have to work together so that our seniors feel comfortable and welcomed and safe in our city. Our children feel comfortable and safe. And we can partner with our youth and seniors and have them do things together. So that would be something that I would work towards, help having the seniors and the youth work together.
As a board member, we're always concerned about what our kids can do after school. So we do have after school programs, but I would say tap into the local churches. We have over an abundance of local churches and other programs here, the Park District, and putting it out and getting people involved, like teenagers. This is what we have for you, especially in the summer, giving them something to do to keep them out of trouble and keeping them productive and getting them ready for their futures. As well as the elderly, we have churches and we have the school, and we need volunteers to take them to the store and get them whatever they need, help them with their bills and their medications. And we can't just focus on economic and not focus on the people who hold the wisdom for our community and the youth who are our leaders of tomorrow. Like, these people are very important. So tap into what we already have in place and get volunteers to help build on that, because we need you to build the programs and to help other people.
I agree with much of what's been said already, that it's not the mission or the primary responsibility of the city to provide some of these services. I would say, however, but I would disagree. I think there's a lot for our kids to do. When you look at what's happening at the Park District and all the programs they have with seniors and kids, and you look at the Library District and all that they're offering, and then you look at much of what's happening at the high school and the grade schools with athletics and the arts, and I think there are a lot of things to do. But it boggles my mind that it was a few years ago, the administrators of the city, and it was under Mayor Harrison was doing this a while back, and all the administrators met once a month, and we talked about issues, whether it was taxes or whether it was things to do for kids, or what each group was doing. And if I am elected mayor, I will get that group together to meet once a month so that we can collaborate on providing all these services.
I've had experience in a prior elected position dealing with both of these issues. One of them, in dealing with the youth, I'll bring up first. Youth Build Lake County, which was formed under the direction of Daisy's Resource Center down in North Chicago. I'm the former chairman of Daisy's and was actually involved with bringing that program into North Chicago. They will be leaving because of political situations down there, and I would like to see them in Zion. They offer opportunities for our youth who felt that school was not something that they were involved with, but realized that they needed skills, job training in order to move forward in life. The other thing that I look at also is I've partnershiped in my past with Lake County Workforce Development in developing a work program for youth in order that would put them to work during the summer, that would teach them job skills, that would give them the tools that they need to move forward in life. Our seniors are important. We need to take care of them. We'll cover this more. It's tough.
Working our way down the line, Al, you're the first for the next question. Oops. And this was a burning topic for many people. 5 cards here. But the one that's the most succinct is, how can we recover from the ballpark fiasco?
Glad you're first.
When does my time start? I guess the first thing I want to say is I was not part of that. But I think what we have to do is we have to move forward. We have a parcel of property out there. The city decided to purchase that property. We were on the hook for, and part of the agreement it said that the city would pay $250,000 a year for 20 years of taxes on the property, which comes out, if you do the math, it's $5 million. So we stepped in and purchased that property from the bank. It was in receivership, and we paid $3.4 million. So even if we had paid the taxes, we would not have owned the property in the long run. We have the property now. We are going to aggressively market it. We're hoping, we will look anywhere and everywhere for, we'd like to get a big box out there and something that's going to contribute a lot of money in tax dollars and a lot of money in activity on that corner.
Now that we own the property, until we can find someone to take it over, why not put it to good use? Let's put a concert there. Let's put our own baseball team there. Right across the border, Kenosha has a Kingfish baseball team, and every time they have a game, the whole community comes out. It's full, it's packed, they're generating revenue. Why can't we do the same thing here? Let's put some sports teams there. Let's put a soccer team. Let's put our own local teams in that facility and generate money. Put a carnival there. Let's generate our own business there, so that way it's just not sitting until we find someone to purchase it.
Yes, I would agree. We need to utilize the space, and we need to find a resource, something that our city will enjoy. What is something that everyone in the city can benefit from by using that space? And all of us like recreation. So since it started off as a baseball diamond, we can have our own baseball team out there. Or maybe we can play some football out there. But there's a lot of opportunities, a lot of ideas that can be used in that space. So I think if we put our heads together and come up with a plan for our city and for our families, because we need more family recreation in this city. And that would be a nice place for our youth to hang out and have structured fun on the field that's out there.
The location could really be a real fun, cool topic for the city of Zion and the families to begin to come together and just begin to share the good ideas and then get something implemented. It's going to take everyone. It's going to be a large project amongst many of the projects that will happen in Zion. But we have to know that this will be an awesome ripple effect So let's have fun with it, and let's have the whole community have a buy-in and talk about what they would like to see there, and then together we would move forward in having the best thing for our city at that location.
I'm going to do something that I said I wouldn't do, and that's give you my opinion. I'm looking for yours. But my opinion is we built it and they didn't come. To maintain it and to use it for any other activity along those lines is going to be cost prohibitive. We need to get it back into the commercial hands of businesses. Like Al said, a big box store. I don't think there's enough adjoining land for parking or for accompanying it with any other type of food outlets or venues. So we've learned from our lesson, and I say we continue on. Thank you.
Okay. Actually, under the comprehensive development plan, which is being discussed, the plan for Zion, as Mike talked about, that particular section, our consultants, Tesca and Associates, offered two options, one with the ball field and one without the ball field, but instead shifting the emphasis to a combined commercial and residential area. I happen to favor the latter. I think that would be a more productive use of that particular piece of land. And the sooner, thank you, because that's why I ran on that topic 2 years ago. Because we need it. We need to have that forward thinking. We need to plan for the future. Unfortunately, the ball field is in the past. We need to let it go for now. If there's some other opportunity in the future, that would be terrific. But right now, I think we need to move that property forward. Thank you.
Hi, a little bit of history. The land was previously owned by the Archdiocese of Chicago, and a number of years ago, they were convinced to sell the property to allow for development for the good of the community. Property was purchased by a developer with the intent of putting a large box retailer there along with some other smaller businesses. And part of the plans included a West Side fire station to better serve the residents of our new subdivisions that were just starting construction out there. The plan was shifted to create the ball field. I would propose that we go back to the big box retailer. We certainly can use a fire station, although I'll be the first to admit I'm not sure how we'd fund it at this point in time. But we certainly need better fire protection out there, and that's what I would propose.
I'm not so sure if I would have been on the city council at that time if I would have voted to actually purchase the property, although I understand why the property was purchased in hopes that it would save money. I would have rather assisted the current owners to sell it, because that's what we're going to do. We're going to sell it, but right now the taxpayers are liable for that. As was mentioned, we do have two plans for the development of that. One is using the existing ball field with some small businesses around the side of it. Another is a residential facility, and I'll leave these up on the table so you can take a look at them. But we do have some options available to us, including what Frank and Al have said about developing or having a big box retailer come into that property.
And we have a newcomer.
My name is John Idleburg. I'm running for Zion City Commissioner. I apologize for being late with a conflict. I understand the question is reference to the Fielders Field off the corner of 173 and Green Bay Road. I understand some of the comments about retail box. I'm okay with retail boxes, but my also concern is that they have to pay better than minimum wages. And we need businesses that can help our community grow. All right, 30 seconds. All right, thank you.
Okay, Chuck's turn now, so we'll pass this all the way back down. Okay, folks, we know not. Note to self, for the next one, we'll get multiple mics. So
wireless. Real easy, wireless.
It would be easy.
Yeah, it would.
Yes.
You have heard many options, many ideas. What I do know is that the city of Zion is on the hook for $10 million because of this fiasco. Now we purchased the property. I agree with things that have been said as far as we need to get this back on the tax rolls, getting a business there so that we can revitalize that corner. In the short term, sure, why not have festivals or other things there? But it is imperative that we focus on getting this back on the tax rolls so that we can recoup the loss that we have seen. So, thank you.
In addition to John Idleburg joining us, Kasey Burton is here. Her sign just fell down. There you go. So, Kasey Burton is a candidate for mayor of the city of Zion. And Kasey, our question now is about the Fielders situation, if you'd like to have a minute to speak to that. The Fielders. What as a mayor, what can the city do about the situation they've gotten themselves into?
Okay, the Fielders situation. I was thinking about that, and my solution was this. We could open up a new community center, because you know that we got the white center and we have the black center, correct? We could disinvolve all of them, and my plans were to open up a new center with many kinds of sports in there, many kinds of boys, also a boys and girls club. I was thinking about anything that can generate revenue to bring back all the monies that we have lost. I wanted to put probably an indoor football field in there, an indoor pool, like I said, the boys and girls club, because we do need that in our community. Also, maybe a few other sports activities, like I said before, for the after-school program for the kids. Like I said, anything to generate more revenue to make up for that huge mistake that has cost all of us a lot of money.
Our next question is in regard to public safety. And the questions include, and I really lost one. Driving down streets in Zion and see people openly buying and selling drugs, what to do about that. If I can see it, what are the police and city doing about it? What are your plans as mayor for the absent police department? My friends live on a particular block in Zion. A bullet went through a bedroom window. The police did nothing, not even in the paper to warn residents. So the concern is about effective community policing and reducing the crime rate. Working our way through our group, I think our next candidate to start would be Christina.
Crime is an important issue with our city. I would work with the chief to put more policemen on the street walking until they can create a relationship with the community. And that's been some of the problems, especially in the news, like with Ferguson and all those type of situations. If the police had a relationship with the community, it would be more opportunity to be like, you know what, I know that you're not gonna pull a weapon on me because I know who you are, I've seen you growing up, and we have a relationship, we have a rapport because we see each other on a normal basis. And implementing neighborhood watches on every block, putting each other in responsibility for our own neighborhoods and being able to call the police if we see something that looks fishy, and holding the police accountable for following up and policing the different areas where our highest concern for our community.
So we're going to need to build trust and work together within our community. That's something that the bridge builders have been doing for 2 years now. The deputy police chief and myself and other community members and the police department, we've been walking these neighborhoods to address the issues that are going on. And that's how it's going to change. The police department doesn't have all the answers for what we need. We have the answers to change our community and help our streets be safer for all families. And what about policing ourselves? When we see something wrong, we need to speak up and not be fearful when we see wrongdoing going on in our communities. Because if we want safe communities, it's up to us to do the work that it takes to have safe communities for families to feel comfortable in their, outside playing their children outside playing in their yards. They need to feel safe. Mothers shouldn't be fearful to allow their children to go outside.
Effective communication when it comes to public safety is paramount at this time. I mentioned earlier in my opening about Zion being one of the cities with the highest list of registered sex offenders, and that is a huge concern. Along with home burglary break-ins, we have everything from top to bottom when it comes to crime in Zion. I mean, we were just on the news a couple of days ago because of the gas station situation. As the mayor, I look forward to working with the police chief, block by block, neighborhood by neighborhood, getting to know the families and having strong communication to letting everyone know what's in their neighborhoods and empowering them on what they can do to feel safe.
Commissioners are given certain departments to work with, and there's a commissioner of public safety and health, and that commissioner and the mayor should be working together with the police chief to do what has to be done to correct these problems. I can't say that every commissioner should be responsible, but individuals in your neighborhood, you have a right to make that call to the police department. You have a right to go up to a car and ask them what they're doing there. We all have to kind of police our own neighborhoods. We all have to feel the safety in numbers. So, thank you.
Generally along the theme of public safety, and in fact, if you were curious, I just did a video commentary on this. It is on zbguide.com, so you can find that under candidate articles. But it really does come down to the community and what kind of community we want. So we have to be willing to come out, and we have to talk to people. And I've been very privileged to walk with Beverly as a member of the Bridge Builders. I think that's a great program, and I want to see it expand. So if you're curious, go to zbguide.com and look at my video. Thank you.
More police do not mean less crime. Crime is a function of the criminal, and the programs that we've just started into motion, some that were actually proposed several years, years ago, such as nuisance abatement ordinance and property registration and changing our housing makeup, less rentals to more owner-occupied, removes the criminal element and allows the police to do their job. Adding 100 police officers does not reduce crime. All these other programs we talked about, economic development, housing, all these other things are what we need to get into motion in order to get the crime rates and the feeling of being unsafe out of Zion.
As I said earlier, I've had the opportunity to volunteer as a police chaplain for Zion, and I've been able to ride along with our officers. I have nothing but respect and admiration for the job that they do, and I think Frank's right, adding more of these fine men and women won't solve the crime problem. It's often been said in Zion that about 2% of our population are troublemakers, and the 98% of us are not. And I think it's time for the 98% of us to stand up and not allow crime to take place in our neighborhoods. I can tell you that if you see something happening in your neighborhood, you call the police department, because that's what they do. And they want to come out and they want to help you. And they do it with professionalism and courtesy, and I've seen that for myself.
I've been living here in Zion for 43 years, and I've seen the changes in the community and the crime grow here in Zion. I've also been law enforcement on the local level and the federal level. But I believe that the most important thing what we need to do in our community is make them feel safe to contact the police and work with the police. We need to educate the community that the best thing for the community is to work with the police. If you see something happen, contact the police, let them know what you've seen and what happened. And the police, on the hand, have to work with the community and make them feel safe if they report crimes and the things that they know about who's committing the crime. People feel safe reporting that to the police. And I will work with the community and the police department to make that possible, that we can all work together in reporting crimes.
I believe this. I believe, I don't know if most of you know, a lot of the police officers don't even live in Zion. I believe that if we hire in Zion and we get an advocacy program for these children, because I know little kids that used to dream about growing up and being a police officer that no longer dream about police officers anymore because they see everything that's going on in the community. I know firsthand that the police officers target. I know firsthand the police officers do not do their job on behalf of the evidence. I know firsthand all the corruption that's going on with the police department. And furthermore, I believe that it starts with firing everyone and rehiring within the community. Oh yes.
Qualified people.
Oh yes. In the community, hire within the community. How else do you have these outsider policemen coming in that know nothing about the families that have been existing here for years?
While I agree with many of the things that have been said, I do disagree with some of them. But the one person that we have not heard about is the mayor. Too much, well, when I turned on the Channel 9 News the other night, and in their lead story was the shooting at the BP, and they proceeded to talk to the chief of police. Where's the mayor? Where's the mayor? Now, well, the point that I'm saying is that, you know, we have been in the news due to crime, due to very sad situations. And the mayor needs to be up front, face first, addressing this issue. Of course you defer to your chief because it's a law enforcement issue. And we need to support the chief and we need to support our police. I applaud Beverly for starting and being involved with bridge builders. Many of us have been walking with bridge builders because we see the need to have that ongoing cooperation between the police and the community.
We've heard much about the 2% that are causing the problems in town, and Pastor Doug Carlson at the Mayor's Prayer Breakfast last Labor Day, his quote was something to the effect of, the 2% either need to get with the program or our community needs to do everything it can to encourage them to move somewhere else. And I fully support that. I think the most effective way to reduce crime is if criminals realize that they are going to be caught and there are going to be consequences for their actions. I think we have a very good police department, but they can't do it alone. It is going to require help from our citizens, and I applaud Beverly also on the bridge builders. But where I also think we need to be strong is on landlords. Landlords are renting to these people that are causing the problems in our community. They're putting money in their pocket and getting out of town and going to Northbrook or somewhere. And we need to institute programs where if we get so many calls from a rental unit, we'll pull the occupancy permit and hit that landlord in the pocket.
We did them all right for this question?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so Beverly would be the next to get my question. Okay, a lane swerve. This is regarding cancer treatment centers, and what concessions are we making to cancer treatment centers? Are we giving away too much to them? What is your succession plan if CTCA decides to leave town? And the question here is, while big businesses, CTCA continues to expand, are they paying any taxes? And I do know that they are paying taxes, so maybe we've answered that question. But I don't have that answer, I'd have to look that up. But the major question is, in terms of the impact of CTCA on town, what would happen if they left? And for the candidates, your opinion, I gather, would be what concessions are being made and are we giving away too much?
Well, I would hope that they would not leave our city. They're benefiting from being here in our city. So I would hope that they would stay here. Any concessions that would be made would come through our economic development plan and bringing businesses into our city. The city should not be dependent only upon the hospital. And they are a big hospital. They have lots of money. They are tearing down and building up new buildings and parking lots around the hospital. It is a wonderful resource to be in our city. It creates jobs, livelihood for families. It's helping to cure people so that people are healthy. I've been in the hospital, and I know they have a whole person approach. So I think that they're a benefit to our city, but I don't think that we should put all of our eggs in the basket with the hospital, because there's other. Thank you.
We need to continue to make sure that CTCA is fair to our local residents, where they are given an opportunity for a job. I am concerned, and I do look forward to more parking being somewhere else where people can come and enjoy the park without being overtaken with all the cars from the hospital. I believe that they have done a great job in partnering with Zion, but I am aware that people feel that we need more businesses in town outside of the hospital. And so we look forward to, continuing that relationship, but also building upon it with other businesses.
As far as CTCA leaving town, we all had our eggs in the basket with the nuclear power plant, and we know where that is, and we didn't expect it to go away as quick as it did. So I don't think we're giving too many concessions to the hospital. They have a campus itinerary of how they want their buildings to look and how far they want their patients to have to travel to get the care. So I think right now they're doing a great job as far as employment and associated business with it. Thank you.
I'm not aware that we're giving any special concessions to CTCA. I do know that with the expansion, the new addition that's going up right now, we're looking forward to, hopefully, by this summer, when they actually occupy it, that section goes on the tax rolls, and that's additional revenue that's going to be coming to the city in the future, which the city is definitely going to need. So they're a very important part of the community's economy. I agree. That's why I'm proposing we need an enterprise zone so we can bring in additional businesses so we don't have all our eggs in one basket.
The hospital doesn't receive any concessions from the city of Zion. The hospital has paid for everything they've done, including all the permits and everything else that they've done. In cases where the city has vacated alleys and right-of-ways to allow the hospital to expand, the city was compensated for that by the hospital. The hospital also paid for relocation of any utilities and any other thing like that. We've had some residents that had to sell their houses or sold their houses to the hospital, allow the hospital to expand. They were paid well above market value for their houses. The hospital is our largest employer and our largest taxpayer. And while it's true that they are the 800-pound gorilla in town, if you will, it's all been done above board, and we should be glad that they're here. And I don't see them leaving in the near future with an $80+ million expansion underway right now. I don't see them leaving in my lifetime. I just can't see that happening.
So I'll just agree with the other candidates here that we haven't offered any concessions to the hospital. In fact, the hospital is one of the excellent employer and a real good neighbor in our community. In terms of if the hospital were to leave, I think that, along with other things, is we just need to learn to live within our means. And as we see tax revenues coming in from the hospital, we can be grateful for that, but mindful that we have to live within live with the tax money that is available to us.
In reference to the hospital, I will work with the city commissioners to help keep the hospital here in Zion. If there are any concessions made for the hospital, I will make sure those concessions are for the benefit of the community. I also don't want us to get in the same boat we were with the Zion nuclear plant. When the plant left, we were in a bind. So I believe that we should also still try to attract businesses into Zion to help the community, just in case the hospital do decide to leave, we're not in the crunch like we were in the past.
This is part of our 10,000 steps today, isn't it? So.
Yeah, that's for sure.
This one, yeah.
I as well feel that the Cancer Center is a benefit to the community. I will also make sure that if any kickbacks or anything goes through, that it will go towards the community and much needed programs for children and things like that. I believe that the Cancer Center needs to stay around because it does generate many jobs. I know many family members that are employed through the Cancer Resource Center, and I think it's a good idea.
You've heard many comments. I think if anybody would know if there's any concessions being made, it would be Frank. He's been on the city council the longest, so I believe what he has to say. One thing that concerns me is that I have heard in all the campaigning I've been doing throughout Zion is that many stores that now sit vacant would rather let their storefront stay vacant in the hopes that cancer treatment will buy it, rent it. That's a real concern because that locks out other small businesses which drive our country, is small business, from coming in. So we have to have this balance between Cancer Treatment Center, and one of the things that I do propose is because they are expanding and many of their patients do not stay either at Cancer Treatment or in Zion, they stay at hotels outside of our community, is why not build one here? And that's what I'm proposing at the Kmart site, is keep them local. That also will be used for expansion of tourism.
I want to reiterate what Commissioner Flammini said. The Cancer Treatment Centers of America is not getting anything from the city right now. They're not getting any type of break. The only break they got, I believe, was probably 15 years ago. They wanted the city to back some industrial revenue bonds, and the city did that, and what that allowed is for Cancer Treatment Centers of America to go out at a lower interest rate when they did their last expansion, and the city guaranteed those bonds. I would say that they are an absolutely great neighbor. If it weren't for Cancer Treatment Centers, Market Square wouldn't be there, Country Inn and Suites wouldn't be there, and not only are they the largest taxpayer to our community, but they have had spin-off development that has contributed a great deal of tax dollars to our community also. And I'd rather be a one-horse town than a no-horse town. I can't imagine if they leave now. I don't foresee that happening at all. They're very successful.
Like any good relationship, you have to think about the past. We were really dependent on a nuclear power plant, and it seems like that same pattern is coming up again. So, and if they decide to leave, I would work to create a succession plan where we're not so dependent and building other businesses. Our local businesses, work with them to build their business so they can expand, so that all of our eggs aren't in one basket. As has been said, I don't think the Cancer Treatment Center is getting a kickback from us, but they have been a good partner. They are a great employer, and we can work to continue that relationship, as well as bring in other businesses so we're not solely dependent on them. Nan.
Yeah. Next question. Shantal. I got to get the question.
The new question.
Oh, the new question. It's wonderful to have all these comments. Please give some specifics on how you will move Zion forward, meaning out of the negative status that we have in so many areas, for example, vacant homes. The discussion has been about economic development, but neighborhood improvement and a negative perception of Zion outside of our community.
Well, Zion is known as the highest houser of Section 8. And actually, I would like for everyone to know that it's actually not even called Section 8 anymore. I have met with the Lake County Housing Authority Director, and one of the big things is helping people understand that many of the people that come to Zion, they are in the process of rebuilding their lives. We do have homeowners that have come from receiving help from Lake County Housing Authority, and they are great, viable citizens in our community. What I would like to do is really work neighborhood by neighborhood to help people get connected. It is so disconnected right now in Zion. It only took 10 signatures to get on the ballot, to be on the ballot, to become mayor. We have to be able to help people understand that neighborhoods as well as businesses are important, and I will work with everyone as the mayor to get it done.
Being a past employee of the city of Zion in the building department, every year we had a responsibility of basically taking stock of what's vacant, what's for sale, and then it was a report that went to the state. And so there, I don't know if that's still a continuation or not, but there's information gathering. There's the tax office that knows who the property belongs to, or the last time taxes were paid. So as far as vacant houses, there isn't anything you can do as far as putting someone in the house to make it occupied. We can't handle that. And Section 8 isn't just Lake County Housing. The owner of the property would have someone interested in renting it and show up with a certificate. And so it's a lot easier to take the majority of the rent from a check and take the balance from the tenant than it was to keep going and looking for more tenants. So it's a give and take. Thank you.
A lot of these issues, especially involving our housing stock, a lot of that revolves on the number of rental properties that are in the city. I think the rental certification and inspection program is a first good step. It's an idea that's been around for 20 years. So it's not a new idea. It's been done elsewhere. We are limited because we are not a home rule community, so we do have some limitations. But I think it would be a good step towards, number one, rewarding landlords who are good, and also weeding out those that are not. And if we get first steps towards cleaning the housing market up.
The problem with the Section 8 housing is not with the Section 8 tenant, it's with the landlord. Many of these properties are owned by landlords who don't live in the area, in some cases have never even seen the properties that they own. They don't care what the quality of the tenant is that lives there. All they care about is that their check comes every week. The other issue is that the value of housing in Zion right now is so low, it's very attractive for an investor to buy property in Zion because the certificate that's issued by Section 8 is the same value for the entire county. So you can get a lot more home in Zion for your certificate than you can in, say, like everybody says, Lake Forest. So we need to do things to drive our neighborhoods up, drive our property values up, and make them less attractive to our investor landlords.
And I think one of the keys of doing that is for our community to become a home rule community. There's two ways to do that, two statutory ways. One is to have a population of more than 25,000, and the other way is through a referendum ballot. And I'd like to suggest that we try the referendum ballot because the last census we just fell a little bit short of becoming home rule. I've also spoken to our state legislator, Sherry Jessel, and she is interested in helping us, perhaps maybe changing some of the state statutes so that communities that just are a few hundred people short of the 25,000 will have the same benefit as home rule communities.
I think one of the major problems is that the perception or the image of Zion. We need to improve the image of Zion. People are concerned about moving to Zion because of the crime, and we need to take care of that first. And if people feel safe moving to Zion, that will help the economy. So what I'm saying is that we need to work on the image of Zion by dealing with these landlords and make them accountable for their tenants and deal with them if they're not taking care of their buildings, find them, and ask them to move on. Thank you.
I've seen a lot of people move out of Zion that was here for many years because of the high property taxes. That they can't afford them anymore, as well as the building department. They require, whenever they come in, code enforcements, new codes being added on that are unnecessary codes for them to pass their homes, up to about $25,000 that they have to pay in just to get their home able to them to live in. And it's crazy. I want to go through the books and see what we can do about alleviating a lot of things within the building department itself, within the houses themselves for the rental properties, as well as the landlords we do need to hold accountable, because they do let just anybody come in. Thank you so much.
Property owners need to be responsible for the property that they own. We had a house that people literally, we watched them drive a pickup truck to the front door, loaded all their stuff in, and left. A company came in about 1.5 years ago, bought 50 houses in Zion. They bought the one next door. We have been proactive in making sure that the individuals that move in, whether they be Section 8 or not, are responsible for their actions. It comes down to personal responsibility. I have no problems with Section 8 folks. They have issues that they are dealing with, and I am glad that we are able to help them. But we all need to know, and this goes for everybody, how to act as citizens of our community. And as has been said, it's the 2%ers. So, we need to address these issues as a community. There are programs that are in place or have been recommended to be in place to address this issue. But we all are involved in policing our community. It's not just the city, it's not just the police, it takes all of us to pull ourselves together.
I would like to say that I think Zion we get a tough reputation because certain things happen here and they're in the paper. But that's the 2%. What I would like to do is get a aggressive marketing program put together that puts out the good of this community, about the 98% of us. There's nothing, and the people that are talking bad about Zion, most of them have never even stepped foot in this community. They're from down the road somewhere, and I would invite them to come to the Zion Leadership Academy. Christine was part of it. She graduated from it. You go to their graduation, and you cannot help but be impressed with the people that we have living here, and how intelligent and how wonderful people are and how friendly. And I would just like to invite all these people that are bad-mouthing us, you come spend some time in our community and see what it's really like. It's a great place.
Just in case you forgot the question, because we had a lot of people. The question is, how will we move Zion forward and address the vacant homes and the negative perception? We need a marketing campaign that highlights what we have amazing about our community. We have the park district, we have the parades, we have the local golf course and local parks where people can come and enjoy. We have the lakefront. And while we work on rehabbing some of these homes so they have a nice facelift, we can remind people like this is a great place to live and remind people why you love to be here. Treat our city like it's your boyfriend. You don't want anybody talking mess about your boyfriend, right? Defend our city. Or girlfriend, I don't want you to feel offended, or wife. Well, regardless. The point is, You are our marketing campaign. We can put together our own campaign, but wherever you go, you are responsible for your city, for your name, for where you live. So take responsibility, and if we can come together and make a marketing campaign to highlight what we love, our city, people will come, and then we can rehab everything.
As your mayor, my job will be to build trust within our city. And we have to partner with our stakeholders to rebuild our city. Right now, we are under a bad reputation in our city, but we can turn it around because there's a lot of good people in this city. There's a lot of opportunities in this city, and there's stakeholders that are willing to partner with us to help move our city forward. And I would just ask you to envision a business-friendly Zion.
Okay, did we get them all? No, okay, so our next person will be Bob Cochrane for the next question. We have time for one more question, and then we will have the summing up with 2 minutes for each candidate. So the next question is, nearly everyone in this room is either black or white. All of the candidates are black or white. How will you bring our growing Hispanic residents into full community participation?
Well, I think Zion is pretty well open to all ethnicities and everybody. And he has a place here in Zion. It's just a matter of what church do you go to get the word out? What paper do you write an article for? How do you have it translated? It's just a case of letting everybody know that we're here and that you have a voice as well as anybody else. So, I mean, it's just a matter of getting the word out that we're friendly. Thank you.
I think it starts on an individual level. It starts with reaching out, and in fact, if you look out on the literature table out there, you'll see my campaign flyer. It is in Spanish also, and it's also available on my website in Spanish. Because bringing people into a community, you have to communicate with them. So sometimes you have to take the first step. You have to say, look, here I am. I'm going to speak to you so that you understand what's going on, and then you can come back and tell me what you need. So it starts with communication. It really does.
I have to agree with Chris. I think Zion is a very diverse community and open to diversity. We do at City Hall have at least one person who is Hispanic who is capable of translating, so there is available. I think it's just a need for anybody to step forward and ask for the city services and ask for the help that they need. Again, I'll reiterate what I said earlier, that nobody comes to the city council meetings, yet they're very quick. Clyde, I know you do, but most people don't come to the city council meetings. They don't make their needs known. They don't make their concerns known. And my cell phone number is on the city's website. My home phone number is in the phone book. I don't get a whole lot of calls, so that kind of makes me wonder. Call me, and if I can't, I'll get you there to translate for you.
This is the kind of question that actually was asked from some of our Hispanic residents here in Zion. And one of the things that we can do is make information available. And I think we have to ask them, what sources do you go to get information? And that's a way that we can help get that information out to our Hispanic residents by asking them the question. Where do you go to get your news, your information, and then put those bits that we want people invited to in those publications. There's also just other ways, and that is just sitting down together and talking with people from our Hispanic community and ask them what kinds of things would be helpful to you in becoming more acquainted with who your representatives are, who your council members are. So asking them the question.
I think Zion is full of people from all different walks of life. And I think that also what we could help do is have more Spanish-speaking people within the city in certain departments, that when someone does call who doesn't speak English, that they have someone that they can talk to and that we can understand exactly what they're saying. So I think one of the things we can help do is try to hire more minorities in positions where people feel comfortable moving to a city or environment where there, as we say, people who look like them and people who they can understand and talk to. Thank you.
I have a few Hispanic friends in my life, and we discuss things like the need for aldermen in our community and things like that that can correspond with them on a more of a citizens basis. And also, I think that we need to let them know that it is okay to bring their jobs and families into our town. I think that it's okay, you know. And also teach, like you said, just have people on hand, like when they call for information, to have more Spanish-speaking people that can actually help people out, and everybody can just live together, and it's going to be okay, you know.
I would say that Zion is the most diverse community in Lake County, bar none. With that being said, Mr. Fischer and I have walked a lot of the streets of Zion. One of the things that we have heard the most is a disconnect between City Hall and the residents. What I am proposing, if I am fortunate enough to be elected mayor, is developing a Citizens Advisory Committee made up of residents throughout all of Zion who will work in cooperation with the mayor's office to have an ongoing dialogue on an ongoing basis. This is something that has resonated across the board, that people are fed up with. I'm an open person. I have no problems meeting people any place, any time, on any subject. I've done it before. I know I will do it again. And it is in order for us to engage, re-engage people so that they can have faith in their government. That's what I'm proposing.
I think this is a very difficult question, and if I truly had the answer for it, I wouldn't be sitting here. I would probably be in Washington, D.C., solving the problems for our nation. But I think the question is interesting. I talked about blacks and whites, and we've been dealing with this question for years and years and years and years, and we haven't come up with a solution. I think we talk at each other a lot. I don't think we talk to each other. And I would suggest, and I go along with Charles's suggestion, that there be an advisory council set up so that would include Hispanics, African Americans, whites, and everybody else in our society, where we talk to each other and we find out, and so we can trust each other. Part of the problem is the disconnect, and I think, I believe John's suggestion was that I think we need to get, whenever possible, we need to look for more minority hiring, both Hispanics and African Americans in our police force, fire department, everywhere in the city.
Oh, somebody clap for you.
It was a quiet clap. It was a quiet one. Thank you.
The question is, how do we encourage our Spanish speakers and get a relationship with them? Well, the good news is I speak Spanish fluently, and I studied in Spain, and I actually attended the university there, so I'll be able to speak directly with them without an interpreter, because a lot of times when you have an interpreter, a lot of the information and a lot of the meaning and what they really want to get across is lost in translation. So if elected the next mayor, I'll be able to speak the language of the people, white, black. I'm Jamaican, so I speak Patois or Spanish. But to hablar español, I can answer your question. So whatever you need, I'm able to communicate that to you in reading and writing, and make the forum open to anybody who may have questions.
As a community partner with the Coalition for Healthy Communities, my partner and I, Maite Diaz, have started the Conversation Cafe in Zion, and we do dialogue with Spanish-speaking individuals in Zion. And it has been going very, very well. So from This will be our third year. So for 2 years, we have done Conversation Cafe in Zion with the Latino population. This year, we have advanced it to the ELL Parent University. And the Parent University opens up opportunities for them to understand how to further their education. And our dialogue has been great. We have, grandmas coming in and mothers coming in and sisters coming in to dialogue with us and bringing their children in to dialogue with us. And it has been very heartfelt to help them to understand the culture that they have become a part of in Zion.
The next mayor of Zion will definitely have a big job of making everyone feel comfortable and everyone fit in. As the next mayor, I would look forward to developing an ongoing relationship with the different, the Spanish community and everyone else that is a part of the Zion community, because we're...
Gibby, is it all right if I stand up? Can I stand up?
Nan, you want him down here?
Can I stand
Yes.
up?
Chris, yes.
Stand up? Okay.
Chris, why don't you come up?
You want to
yeah,
do
come up to the podium at a time.
Then everybody can go to the podium.
And then they can be seen. This is the coordination test
Yeah,
here.
it's a little-
Okay.
First, I would like to thank our hosts and my fellow candidates for participating today. Hopefully, we are all the better for doing so. This election is a job interview, but I think it's much more. Beyond education, experience, and tenure, there is another quality we look for in our leadership: vision. Vision is the great driver of progress. Without vision, experience becomes nostalgia. Education becomes outdated. Without vision, complacency slowly smothers us until everything just stops. The families that founded this city just over a century ago were drawn here by a vision. They and those that followed put their hands, hearts, and minds to the great task of making that vision a reality. They were building the future. We stand on the foundations they laid, and now it is our turn to continue the work that can never be completed, because the future is always just out of touch, just beyond the horizon. This election is all about the future. The people we elect will make decisions that will determine the future of Zion for the next 20 years. It's a serious business, building the future, and we need serious people to carry it out. I couldn't be more serious. Today, I have shared some of my vision for the future with you. If you share that vision, I ask for your support and your vote. Thank you.
A lot has been said here today, and I think we all heard it before and we all knew it. I don't think there was anything new presented by anybody here, including myself. I think we all know what the problems are. 16 years ago, I was asked to sit on the Board of Zoning Appeals. Again, I had no experience, but I started to work hard, and that led to a position on the City Council, a Solid Waste Agency of Lake County, a lot of other positions. A lot of things that were talked about today were things that were started years ago that faltered because Zion lost its traction. Hopefully with new candidates, and hopefully I'm one of them, we'll regain that traction. Things like the zoning, the nuisance abatement ordinance, and landlord registration and things like that. Those were all proposed years ago, but they lost their traction. Hopefully we can get this going again. I appreciate the support I've had over the years. I promise that if I'm elected, I will continue to work as hard as I possibly can, and I ask for your support on Election Day. Thank you very much.
Thank you all for being here, and thank you for some very good questions. I think this is the basis of being a good community, is talking to each other, listening to each other, and I'm thankful for what was accomplished here today. I'd just like to leave you with a few ideas of what I would like to see happen in Zion. I was surprised that we didn't hear really very many questions about taxes, although we all referred to taxes, but I would like to commit to you that I will not raise the tax levy. That's the main instrument that lowers or raises the tax rate. And I think it's very important that we live within our means, and I'd like to commit that I won't raise the tax levy, and I'd like us to be able to live within our means. And for us, that might mean some serious cuts. We're looking at a next year's budget of about $1.6 million deficit. And that's a big pill to swallow. But I think it's something that we need to do. If we don't do it this year, something will have to happen next year. So I'm going to commit to live within our means. I'd also like to make a difference in terms of the housing issues that we have in Zion. As I said before, 40% of our housing stock is rental property, and about 28% of that is Section 8 housing. And I think one of the solutions to that is becoming a home rule community. That will give us the opportunity to set up a housing authority and address some of those issues. Another concern that we have all expressed today is the safety of our community. We all want to live in a community where we feel safe, where we can be out on the street. And I think one of the main ways of doing that is when you see something happen, report it to the police. We have fine men and women in our police department, and they do care, and they will take care of you. Please vote for me, Mike McDowell, on April 7th. Thank you very much.
Again, my name is John Idleburg. As I'm sitting down there listening to the other candidates and talking, and I remember the question, why do you want to run for office? And I think about all the time I interact with the city, the police, and some things, sometimes the contact was very positive, some of them was very negative. And then I thought about, you know what, there needs to be some changes. There needs for someone who cares about the community, someone who actually listens to the community, not put people off saying, I'll get back with you, I'll see what I can do, and not returning your phone call. That's how I felt at times. And I decided that I wanted to make some changes for this community. I wanted the community to feel safe, that they have a voice, they can call me and talk to me and listen to me and actually meet with me. So that's the reason why I want to run for office, so that the community can feel safe, that they have someone who will actually listen to them, return their phone calls, and at least tell them what they can do. And you may not like my answers, but I'm going to be honest with you and tell you the truth. If I can help you, if I can fix the problem, I will. If I can't, I'll tell you that. And that's the reason why I'm running for office. Thank you.
Hi, y'all. The reason I'm running for office is because I am no politician, and I don't claim to be. I'm a citizen like all of you, but I am very fed up with what's going on with this town. I have been attacked by the Zion Police Department and falsely arrested many, many times. And I'm tired of it. I'm a target. I'm one of the major targets in this town. Many of you do know me on a personal basis. I fight for people's civil rights. If you notice my teeth are knocked out, that is because Zion Police Department did it last year. And I do have a current lawsuit against the city as we speak. I'm very tired of how it's being ran, and I feel for every one of you because I'm a fighter just like all of you. I fight for my civil rights on a daily basis, and I am determined to turn this town around and to make a change. I'm a libertarian. I oppose government. I oppose high taxes, and I'm just tired. I'm so fed up. And I promise all of you that I come in contact with every day that I will work my hardest and I will make a change. I promise you that. Thank you.
too want to thank you all for coming. This shows that you really do have a concern and a vested interest in our community. As I mentioned earlier, Mr. Fischer and I have been walking a lot of miles of our community, knocking on over 1,000 doors, talking to residents throughout all our town. And they have some real concerns about our future. And we need to have someone who understands how government works at all levels so that we don't have time for on-the-job training. There is too much at stake. We have a very important election, April 7th, that will determine the future of our community and in what direction we go. I ask for your vote. I ask for your vote on April 7th so that we can take one step forward towards that future, collectively, together. Because if we don't pull together, as we have seen here, we will not be able to move forward. And so that's why it was not an easy decision, having held public office before, to put my name on the ballot. Because I know that this job is not going to be easy. But I also know I've had the experience, the qualifications, and the passion. I love this town. I will fight for it. I have that proven record fighting in the past. I don't say no. I'm tenacious. And that's what we need in our mayor's office, is who will fight for us, who will look after all of us collectively. And that's why I asked for your vote on April 7th. Charles Fitzgerald for mayor. If you have any questions, my website is fitzgeraldformayor.com. I ask you to call me. Again, I've been on the streets all the time. I see some folks that I saw yesterday here, and thank you for coming. So, thank you very much, and please get out to vote.
All of us have had many influences in our lives that make us who we are today. I'd like to share a couple of those influences that have made me who I am, because I think it's very, very important that you know who your mayor is here. I think that's very important. We all know what the problems are. When I was a freshman in high school, I was 4'10", and I weighed 82 pounds. I loved football and basketball. The coaches thought I would be a better water boy than a defensive end. So instead, I took up wrestling and a little bit of boxing. I was a pretty good wrestler. I wrestled varsity for 4 years, and one of the things you learn when you're wrestling is to never, ever quit. One of the things you learn as a boxer is when you're about to get hit, you had better be totally committed to getting out of the way. I grew up in a household with 5 siblings and loving, dedicated parents. They taught us that honesty and integrity are qualities that we must display in our lives every day. My first job out of college was managing the ice rink for the Zion Park District, and my boss and mentor was Chuck Paxton. Chuck Paxton was a stickler for open government and integrity. I define integrity as doing what's right, no matter who's watching and no matter what the personal consequences. The hardest professional decision I have ever made was recommending the closing of the Zion Ice Rink. It was an unpopular decision, and I got clobbered for it. But it was the right decision. It was the right decision for the Park District, and it was the right decision for Zion taxpayers. And if you go look at that facility on a Saturday morning in the middle of winter, when there's hundreds and hundreds of kids in there playing basketball, you'll see it was the right decision. None of us know exactly what's going to happen these next 4 years. I can't predict exactly what will happen with spent fuel rods, the economy and economic development, or state revenue and our tax rate. But I can tell you that if you select me to be your mayor, you will select somebody who won't quit, who will be committed to serving you. Every citizen will be treated with fairness, and every decision will be made for the best of the community. You're welcome, Dan.
I'm going to take the same extra few minutes. No, I'm just kidding. Thank you so much for coming. Give her your hands, clap for yourself. I mean, you've been sitting here. You haven't been bullying. I mean, you can clap better than that for yourself. Look, put your hands together. There you go. Ask yourselves, what are our goals for the community? On April 7th, when you're at the polls, ask yourself, what do I want for my community? You want a community that's safe. You want a community that will flourish, and you want a community that you can flourish in and live a really good life. The citizens of Zion are concerned, and I myself as a citizen, I'm concerned too. There are too many stories of frustrated homeowners and taxpayers who are looking for hope in our city. But there is hope. Look at, you're all here and you're willing to work together. That means you have to get involved and stay involved. Nobody can go to sleep after the election is over. You have to stay awake. We need a leader who has a plan and who can move us forward. I am that leader and I have that plan. I'm running for Zion because I have a fresh perspective and I have a passion to follow through and take our city to where we need to be. You have entrusted me with your students at the high school for the past 6 years. Why not entrust me with the city and taking us to where we need to go? Your task as a voter is to put the right people in place. So I'm asking you to partner with me to rebuild our city and vote McCullough for mayor. Thank you.
We have success stories in Zion. Mrs. Bass has 3 businesses in 1 building, a success story. George Anderson has a manufacturing business in Zion, a success story. As your mayor, we will have more success stories. And I'm asking for you to vote for Beverly Mull on Tuesday, April 7th. I want to thank you for being here and enjoy your day.
As we move on with this Sunday afternoon, I too would like to thank everyone for being here and would like to share that I really believe Zion has a huge potential, and it is in the hands of the next mayor working with the citizens, neighborhood by neighborhood, business by business. We have a lot to get done when it comes to our business climate, to our neighborhoods, to economic prosperity that's more than just money. You want a mayor that cares. You want a mayor that knows and watches and that is connected. I look forward to being that mayor to help you and to help Zion be all that it can be. Thank you.
I'd like to thank the library again and all of you for coming out on such a glorious and beautiful day. My name is Rick Cochrane. I'd like to have your vote for commissioner on April 7th. Like I told you before, I'm here 24/7. I don't have a job to go to. I don't have a business to attend. I just have my own little plot of Zion that I've been on for 37 years. And I'd like to help you keep yours the way you want it and feel comfortable in your own town. Again, thank you so much for coming out.
And indeed, we do thank everyone for coming out this afternoon. Those who have patiently stood in the back, it was wonderful to have an overflow crowd. Thank you once again. There'll be a little opportunity. We don't want to keep everyone like till midnight. So, but people will be available to chat with for a little bit. And thank you again for coming out.
He's too much. He's too much. I got a little sweaty on this one.
Shake my hand.